Tell them one time and pray for them many times. And you will get your goals accomplished. I have gotten a tremendous amount of people to change by telling them once and praying for them many times. And that's it. So I want to thank you for listening to me, and I'm here to take your questions. And I usually I'll say as late as everyone has questions, as long as there's 2 people left. And I say 2 people because there's always that one person behind that never wants to leave. So there has to be 2 people, and I can't be one of them. But we do have to respect the hard workers here, and they're going to want to go home eventually. So we'll take as many questions as we can this time, and I want to thank you for listening. Okay, question. Well, I'll get you first. I'm going to take the questions, and I'll repeat the questions. But before I take the questions, I just want to let everyone know I have those CDs up here about of how to make raw foods and stuff. There's 2 different CDs. I have these charts here. I have a couple of these books by Alan Derrick, and they have some other ones here. But I also have this recipe book here. I have a bunch of these, which are simple recipes. And I see a problem with a lot of recipe books because they're complicated recipes. And I found a book that has simple recipes. So now, if you're going to get any, and I also have this spiralizer here to help you make zucchini pasta out of your food. This is very hard to find, that's why I brought it. I have some of these for sale. Now, if you're going to buy any of these things, you can just come to me. I take credit cards and checks and all that good stuff. But come to me and I'll help you with all of that. And I have my books and so on. So I'll take some questions now from everyone. We'll take you first.
I have 2 questions, totally unrelated. The first one is, besides the Hippocrates Institute, which I can't travel to or spend 3 weeks at, where else can you go for that kind of blood analysis? And my mother says, how do you know it's organic? How do you actually know? Like, how do I know?
The first question is, how do you know, where can you get a blood test other than Hippocrates? There are many doctors that give blood tests, and they're all great, but they don't know how to read them. That's the problem. Because everyone else might be high, and you might be perfectly normal, and it might look like you're low because everyone's so high. But you might be really low, and everyone's okay, so you have to know somebody who knows how to read them. So you get the blood work. When you get your results, you can go to somebody like Dr. Fred Bishey, and he could read them for you. You could send them somewhere like Hippocrates, they could read them. And there's a chemist in Florida, Dr. Shandell. He actually has his own laboratory. You can get your blood drawn here and sent to his laboratory, and he'll do his test.
So like a regular blood test that you would get at the doctor?
Yes. That's the one to start off with. There's thousands different of tests for thousands different of things. What I'm saying is, the only real way to confirm something is deficient is by taking a blood work test. Dr. Shandell actually has a blood test, a cancer profile. By looking at your blood, he can tell if you're going to have cancer 10 years before you get it if you keep doing what you're doing based on your blood work. And the other question is, how do you truly know something is organic? Well, we have the Organic Standard Act that's supposed to help, and it does to a degree. However, me personally, how do I know? I've eaten organic long enough to taste it and to feel the difference. But usually you go to a place where you trust the people and so on. And so that's the main way. Yes?
What brand of probiotic do you recommend?
There are many different brands out there. When it comes to every supplement line, I recommend people try 2 or 3 different lines over a period of a couple of months and see which brand resonates best with their body. With supplements like enzymes and probiotics and green foods, you usually get what you pay for. If you go to GNC and get like a $3 supplement, it's not as good as going here or somewhere else and getting a $40 one. You usually get what you pay for when it comes to those things. And I have one that I sell Hippocrates Health Institute line. And I think all their supplements are excellent, and they will have them here in the future. But I know they've done some of their homework here, and they check out. So I would try some from here.
They don't have them.
Okay, they don't have probiotics here? I have probiotics with me that I'll sell, that are from my website. Yes?
To know if something's organic, on the sticker it has a 9, like when it has a number code, it will have a 9 in it, so that's one way to know. Look on the sticker on the produce.
Yes, you can look on the sticker on the number, but she's saying how can you trust them?
Well, if the sticker has a 9.
Well, what she's saying is that it's supposed to be, but she's saying how can you trust them?
Put a 9
why not non-organic?
How do you feel about eating regionally, and how do you feel about eating produce that's seasonal, or if it's not in the season, like in strawberries, in Whole Foods?
Ideally you want to eat as local and seasonally as you possibly can. That would be ideal. What?
We don't grow avocados.
Ideally you want to eat as ideally as you can. However, before even looking at that issue, I think people need to take care of many of the other issues with their health all around. And then we can be left with that, and then we can work on that. In other words, that's not the worst thing we're doing. It's ideal, but we can eat avocados and be perfectly fine. However, you don't have to do it per region per se as per climate. So even though we don't grow avocados here, fats are still better in the wintertime than the summertime. Watermelons are usually better in the summertime than the wintertime. So we can do more like a climate diet kind of thing. You understand? Yes. Definitely. The question was, will I see any benefit if I don't do this 100%? And the answer is, as much as you do is as much as you'll see. But if you do something, you'll see something. If you don't do anything, you'll see anything. What I recommend for everyone is at least 75 to 80% raw foods. But those things you splurge on shouldn't be like ice cream sundae at McDonald's. It should be like maybe a cooked grain and a vegetarian meal or something. Chia seeds. Excellent. It's another seed, like flax seeds and so on. Excellent seed. Excellent. Yeah. Yes.
Do you have any viewpoint for those who view the urinalysis and the saliva, like in the mode of Carrie Beans or Howard Loomis, as being superior to a blood test, or at least very important analysis?
Yes, I know Dr. Schindel, who's an excellent chemist. He has his own laboratory, and he would say it doesn't even compare. The blood is the ideal way to see exactly what's going on in the body. You can get some type of idea by looking at the urine and the saliva, but the only way to get an exact is to look at the blood, which can also be deceiving because the pH of the blood will automatically always balance out to the level it's supposed to be at. It'll even take minerals out of the body to do that. So the blood's never going to be too acidic. It's always going to be at the right range, where the urine and the saliva can be acidic based on what our diet is. So with things like that, it can get a little tricky, but the blood is the ultimate answer when we understand.
Where is Dr. Schindel based?
In Hollywood, Florida, and I can give you his number. If you email me, I'll give you his number. And does everyone have the paper? On this paper, and I'll give out my website for the sake of the camera here. It's paulnison.com, paulnison.com, and that's for. And if you want to contact me by phone, it's 866-729-7285. You can email me through my website. My web store is rawlife.com, RAWLIFE.com, and I also have a nonprofit ministry, which is TorahLifeMinistries.org. Torah, T-O-R-A-H, lifeministries.org. So, that's that translation. Yes?
What is the reason for skin problem and weight problem?
Well, the question is, why do the people have skin problems and weight problems? And the answer isn't to just say skin problems and weight problems. It's why does everyone have every health problem? Why do they have all health challenges? It's because they're not following the formula for health, which we discussed tonight. They're doing the opposite. They're creating stress in their life. 99% of our health challenges come from diet. 99%. But a big part of it also comes from sleeping at the wrong time, eating at the wrong time, even if it's healthy, not drinking enough water, eating too much food, overeating and undersleeping are two of the big problems. And usually the problems of those two things you mentioned. Overeating and undersleeping, yes.
The blood work. How would Dr. Schindel determine if someone comes in with perfect blood work, where everything's in range, he can refine that from that point?